So we've looked at how we can clean up 2D data before we actually bring it into our precious project. In this exercise, I'm going to link several DWGs into a completely blank project file. The purpose of this is one of many. When I do a documentation print, I want to use the 2D rather than the architect's model. I want to create my own model because the architect doesn't have one yet. Or I just want to use it as a holding bay where I can store lots of DWGs for that particular project. So let's make a start. I'm going to create a new project at this point. So click on New, and I'm going to browse for a template file. Browse to my Chapter 4 folder and use the Chapter 4 architecture template and click on Open. Click on OK. And here I have my blank file where I'm going to start importing or linking DWGs. From the Insert tab, click on Link CAD. Browse to my Chapter 4 DWGs folder and click on Floor Plan Level 1. Here I want to check a few things before I actually do the import. The colours, I'm only interested in black and white. I want all the layers. I'm going to go with the auto detect on units, and I'm not going to create lines that are slightly off axis. This may be a design feature that the architect has created. Just make sure that there isn't a tick in the current view only, and the positioning I'm going to use origin to origin. Click on Open, and there we have our floor plan. If I zoom to fit, you'll see that this doesn't exactly match the default elevations that I have in my plan. So what I'm going to do here is just select them and move the default elevations so they roughly resemble the ones in the architect's file. This may just need selecting them a few times and dragging them into the required positions. Now that I've done this, I want to create some building grids. The building grids are what I'm going to use to line up any of the elevations that I link in. From the Architects tab, click on Building Grid. And rather than drawing them all, I'm going to use the Pick Line tool. It now asks me to select an edge. So let's start with Grid A. We've created Grid A, but this one's called Grid 1. I know that I don't want to change every single one, so let's change this to start with to Grid A. Now the subsequent grids that I create will be numbered correctly. I'm going to go back to the Pick Line option and pick the subsequent grid lines that run vertically. I'm going to skip F1. You'll see why in a second. Come back to do F1. And this is the only other grid that I need to rename. I like to do as little work as possible. Let's go back and repeat that process for the horizontal grids. Click on the Grid tool, use Pick Lines, and click on Grid 1. Change its name to Grid 1. Then come back to the Architects tab, select Grid, Pick Lines, and go through the rest. 4, 5, again miss out 5.1, go to 6, and finally create Grid 7, which we can then modify. I'm now ready to turn my attention to the elevations and the additional building levels that I require in my project.